Welcome again, Keepers of Light, and I call you that because you are just that. Keepers of Light. Yesterday, I ended up triggering myself into some more healing work and some shadow working, which I am in the process of doing. And so why not do it here? Why not, other than that in the past it just felt safer for me to do my spiritual work in hiding. Um, when I was saying yesterday how it was how it translated, how escapism and wanting to bail is what I had said. Wanting to bail is really how I've been feeling most of my life here. And it was like an easier task for me to do before, when I was in the learning seat and just acquiring information. And in that case, I could just be my Pisces self and check out and immerse myself within those frequencies which I am now transmitting. But what is shifting for me is that I no longer find hiding to be safe. And this is because the shift is really just the same that I've been saying. That shift between moving from, I'm just going to say it's more like moving from intellectualism to presence. And it really, the bigger picture of it is really that there's within each and every single person, once we have all stripped away all of the different layers of existence which seek to cover the essence of a person, the essence of the soul of the person, the original blueprint of that person, that within each person there is that light. And to uncover it and to allow yourself to walk the earth as the light that you are is the reason why I am here as a messenger to that message. But not just a messenger, I find myself learning how to do that before you, in front of you, on a day-to-day basis, coming on here and living the path versus just talking about the path. So I wanted to just say that, yesterday when I had used the analogy of a man being the aggressor to another person or another man, it really just put me in a position where, afterwards, because when I first downloaded this information, the analogy, it was during meditation, and it wasn't necessarily that I was seeing people in the first place. It was more I was seeing the energetics. But then when I come on here, what usually happens is that I wind up finding words that would match what I'm seeing. And so really it was just a bigger picture of the energetics behind the concepts that I was sharing. But then when I eventually thought about what I had said, it made me realize like how much in presence that I have been living lately, no longer really relying upon what my thoughts are, and in many ways just showing up here in a more extemporaneous fashion, and just allowing what flows through to come through, and trusting that what will come through will be helpful for you guys. But there are times where I have this sense of self-doubt in myself and in this path itself, because it is a fine line to walk when you are expressing concepts that don't necessarily belong within that realm of existence that we are in, that so many people who are suffering in, and to expect that they receive those words in the way that I I am meaning for them to come through is will not necessarily be the case. That it does not necessarily mean that it will be the case that they can. And in that way, I just wanted to express that all of my messages come with the intention to talk about the energetic path that we are all on. I seek to make the expressions and the experiences of being human more communicable in that way that it can be expressed, that we can all express our pain and our suffering, that we can all express our humanity in ways that are not damaging to one another. There's a way of living that we're all moving away from, especially those who consider themselves keepers of light or light keepers, which which is and will serve as a demonstration about how to exist without the level of fears that we have been feeling as though we are constrained to, as though as what most people have been feeling as though that they're constrained to. It will be that there are many who do not have the level of experience of awareness as to the choices that are present, in terms of working with the energetics of the moment that is presenting to them. But you are one who is capable of that. And so I speak to you, and I am now seeking to look beyond the message from yesterday. I call in our star families of the highest resonance to source. I seek the assistance of higher beings who are of the light and are here to help us within this period of ascension, for what messages are here for us as keepers of light. So this is about the expression of humanity. This whole segment here is really about redefining humanity, what humanity stands for. Redefining humanity in that way, that on that individual level, discovering it means discovering and remembering your humanity. And in many ways we have forgotten our humanity. And this is just from simply being conditioned in that way, that when you are within a particular environment, you become conditioned to the existence that you are born into. And so, because there's been so many atrocities which have been committed against the humankind, against itself, then what I'm hearing really from the guides is really about confronting the inhumanity within ourselves. And those things that result within the outer realm reality of our experiences as being inhumane, those very things that I have labeled as being horrific, we need not details for that to understand this, but those are the elements that when we're looking outside ourselves, that we are understanding that this is what is making our and calling to our hearts. It is what is calling to us to do something about. Yet to be able to arrive at answers that actually equal the type of changes that we're looking to make, then we have to be able to be willing to look at ourselves as both the problem and the solution. There are many aspects within the human vessel which we've been holding, which constitute for inhumanity. And this will be, when it is reflected outwards, is reflected as humanity against itself. But when it is inside ourselves, then it is our humanity being used as a tool against ourselves. And so here we are in this process of releasing those inhumane parts, those aspects of ourselves that become inhumane to ourselves. And it is only this way of being able to confront what is happening within us that actually creates the type of change that is of the that is change at the structural level, and therefore lasting change. And this is because we are addressing the actual energetics and allowing ourselves to reconfigure into the level of beingness which allows for the expression of the love for humanity. So here I am coming on here every day, and I I find it important for me to continue as I am learning now how to be, which is to not necessarily show up in that calculated manner that I used to think was what was required to exist here. But it's because back then I was telling myself that I was living to survive. And so when you're living to survive, what happens is you wind up having to strategize for the next moment. But in the times that we are here, there is no more of strategizing what comes next, because there are so many varying timelines of experiences that are available for us to walk into. And in that way, the only choice that we have is to, the only parameters that we have is the focus point of attention are uh, that we are demonstrating, that is deciding what our next experiences will be. And so it is a choice about whether or not we continue to re-traumatize ourselves over and over again, or if we are choosing not to do that anymore. And that was the kind of the bigger message to what I was saying yesterday, is that this is the point in time where we can choose. We can choose to let go of those parts and those aspects of ourselves which have been traumatic to our vessels, our energetic systems, our vessels, our bodies. It is time for us to walk the earth as free beings and no longer constrained within the demonstration of nervousness and disappointment and anger and frustration, allowing those to be the determining factors to the creation of our next experiences. What we have available to us now is the awareness factor, which is what makes possible these moments that we are having together. Our sense of awareness as to the resonance that these words, where these words come from, because we exist really as vibrational beings, and we have the ability to see and to feel into the energetic systems of ourselves and the energetic systems of one another, to determine at that level of existence what is important and what we are deciding is important. about how it is that we will walk into our next experiences. I find the many aspects of who I am coming through in ways that are surprising to me, even. And I celebrate these moments, but at the same time, there's this human part of me which still resists the experiences that are unfolding through me. Even though I am understanding at that pure level of existence what my existence equals and what my empowerment is, I still at the same moment have experiences of disempowerment. And this is what will continue to show through through me. Yet it is not what is guiding me in these moments. It is not why I continue to show up here again and again. The reason why I continue to show up here again and again is because I have reconnected to and remembered the beauty and essence of who I am beyond all of the different ways in which I show up, the different ways in which I am seen. And so I walk from this sense of beingness. And in that way, I allow my energetic signature to expand into the expressions of humanity that are more so aligned to the furthering of the thriving nature of its beingness. So I just want to say I will make mistakes, you know. After all, I am human. And you will see me come on here sometimes and, be surprising, maybe triggering to you, and I may trigger myself. But this is what it's all about. It is not about perfection. It is this path that we're walking itself is perfection, but we are not expected to reach for perfection in that way that the mind is designed to understand it. So I just wanted you to know that I'm here. You don't have to feel as though there is like a separation between us, really, because there isn't one. I am here to help. I am only from my standpoint perceiving the larger context of what's needed here within this portal, what is needed as an energetic adjustment and reconfiguration. And so I come here offering that. Yet if there is some way that I could be of assistance, not in solving your problems, I can't even solve mine. No, but you know what I mean. Like if there's any assistance that you would need at that at reconnecting, then that's what I'm good at. Like in terms of helping people to reconnect and to see through the veils that really have us all occupied and feeling as though we can't be present, and we can't be presently embodying and to trust the level of presence that wants to show up for us in ways that will free us from the very things that we're seeking to solve. So I want to leave the message here as it is, and I look forward to our next session together, Keepers of Light. Until next time.